Welcome, dear dreamer of science. Tonight, we begin a slow and gentle journey into the hidden heart of reality, quantum physics. This is not a lecture, not a race, and not a test of memory. This is simply a soft unfolding of the universe's quietest secrets, explained slowly, like a lullaby for the mind. Here, time moves differently. We pause, we breathe, and we let the mysteries reveal themselves in whispers. You do not need to rush to understand, because quantum physics itself is not in a hurry. It flows in waves, it drifts in probabilities, and tonight it drifts with you. As you listen, imagine atoms glowing in the dark, particles moving as if half dreaming, and light weaving itself between matter and energy. Imagine that each breath you take is shared with the stars, and that every thought you have is connected to the fabric of the cosmos. If this journey brings you peace, or sparks even a small wonder in your heart, I invite you to gently support it. Like this video, it may reach others who long for calm science in the night. Share it so curiosity can ripple outward like waves across water. Comment your thoughts, for your reflections are part of this journey too. And if you wish to continue exploring, slowly and deeply subscribe, so that together we can keep walking through the universe, one dreamlike step at a time. Now, let us begin. You close your eyes and drift into a world far smaller than dust. Here, silence feels vast, yet everything shimmers with hidden motion. The quantum world is not loud or hurried. It hums gently, patiently. You begin your journey by listening to its softest whispers. You close your eyes, and in the stillness, a new journey begins. It does not take you outward into the vastness of galaxies, but inward, into the smallest places you can imagine. You shrink in thought, smaller than grains of sand, smaller than the dust floating in moonlight, smaller still than the cells of your own body. You drift past molecules, past atoms, until you arrive at a hidden shore, the quantum world, where silence is alive, where the tiniest things whisper their secrets. Here, there are no booming voices or roaring engines. The quantum world hums softly, like the faintest breeze moving through tall grass at dusk. At first glance, it seems still, as though nothing stirs. But when you rest your attention gently, you notice a shimmer, a flicker of motion too subtle to name. Particles, impossibly small, move and vibrate, as though every piece of existence carries within it a quiet pulse. You begin to sense that reality itself is made of these pulses, countless and unending. Imagine the heart of an atom. At its center sits a nucleus, tiny beyond comprehension, carrying most of the atom's weight. Around it, electrons drift in ghost-like clouds, too elusive to pin down, too restless to sit still. They do not circle like planets around a sun, though that picture is often painted for simplicity. Instead, they shimmer in zones, probabilities, appearing as a blur of possibility rather than a single path. In this world, the familiar rules of ordinary life begin to dissolve, like mist in morning light. You have always known a world where things are solid, predictable, and measurable. A ball thrown upward falls back down. A stone dropped into water makes ripples that fade. These patterns comfort you with their steadiness. But the quantum world is different. Here, certainty gives way to strangeness. A particle can be in more than one state at once, like a note of music that holds several tones together. What feels impossible in daily life becomes natural in this hidden dimension. You pause and you listen. In the stillness, you hear the hum of energy that fills even empty space. Physicists call it the quantum vacuum, though it is not truly empty. It is alive with fluctuations, as if the void itself breathes in and out. Virtual particles flicker in and out of being, too brief to see, yet real enough to shape the world. Out of what seems like nothing, something always arises. This is the whisper of the quantum field, speaking of a universe that never fully rests. The more you gaze, the more you realize that size itself begins to lose meaning here. A proton within a nucleus is so small that millions of them lined up would still barely cross the width of a fingernail. Yet inside each proton live even smaller building blocks, quarks and gluons, bound by forces so strong they cannot be separated. The deeper you look, the more mystery you find, as if every layer of reality conceals another, waiting to be uncovered. And still, this world does not rush. It does not shout its truths. It waits for you to slow down enough to notice. You breathe deeply, and you let your thoughts soften. You realize that this quiet strangeness is not far away or separate from you. It lives within you. The atoms of your body obey these laws. The particles in your fingertips hum with the same uncertainty, the same shimmering duality. You are made of the very whispers you are now listening to. Picture your hand. To your eyes, it seems solid and whole. Yet, in the quantum world, it is mostly empty space. The nucleus of each atom is small, the electrons drifting far from it, leaving vast regions untouched. Your hand, your body, the chair you rest upon, all are lattices of space, held together by invisible bonds. Solidity is an illusion born of scale. If you could slip inside an atom, you would see not a solid sphere, but a blur of probability. What feels firm is, in truth, delicate and porous, a web of forces weaving illusion into matter. This thought does not unsettle you. Instead, it soothes you. You realize that the world is not as rigid as it appears. Beneath apparent hardness lies softness. Beneath certainty lies mystery. To live is to float in the sea of unseen vibrations, to rest within patterns too small for the eye to follow. You are not separate from this hidden dance. You are woven into it. As you rest here, you notice how the laws of the quantum world differ from the laws you know. In your daily life, a thing is either here or there. But in the quantum world, a particle can exist in many places at once, spread like a cloud across possibility. This is called superposition. It is as if a coin could be both heads and tails until you looked at it. Reality, at its roots, does not declare itself until observed. Until then, it hovers between many options, like a dream waiting to choose its form. The thought is strange, yet comforting. It reminds you that reality is not rigidly fixed but gently unfolding. It suggests that uncertainty is not failure but possibility. The quantum world does not give you the sharp edges of certainty. Instead, it offers you the soft embrace of maybes. And in that embrace, there is room to breathe, to wonder, to imagine. Consider the light that surrounds you, the light of stars, of lamps, of the moon reflected on water. Light, too, lives in the quantum world. A single particle of light is called a photon. Sometimes it behaves like a particle, a discrete spark. Other times, it spreads like a wave, rippling through space. It shifts between these identities depending on how you look at it. This dual nature is not an error but a truth. The world is more fluid than your senses suggest. You begin to feel that your own being is also fluid, not one fixed thing but many possibilities woven together. You linger with this awareness, as though sitting beside a calm river. The water moves quietly, reflecting the sky, yet beneath its surface is endless motion. The quantum world is like that river. To the surface eye, it is still ordinary. But if you look deeper, it is alive with flickers, with leaps, with unseen patterns. You sense that this hidden life does not ask to be fully known. It only asks to be felt, to be listened to, like music heard in the distance. As you rest in this awareness, your body grows heavier with calm. The rhythm of breath matches the rhythm of this subtle world. Every inhale feels like drawing in energy. Every exhale feels like letting it drift back into the field. You begin to understand that your life is not separate from the universe but part of its ongoing song. You are a note, a vibration, within a vast and gentle symphony. The deeper you lean into this symphony, the more the boundaries of self blur. You are no longer simply observing the quantum world, you are inside it. Your thoughts are particles, your breath is probability, your presence is a wave. You feel how fragile and how vast you truly are, both grounded in matter and dissolved in mystery. This paradox does not confuse you, comforts you. It tells you that to be human is to belong to both the visible and the invisible, both the certain and the uncertain. The whispers continue, patient and soft. They remind you that this hidden world has always been here, long before you learned its name, long before physics gave it equations, long before microscopes hinted at its existence. The quantum world pulsed silently. It continues to hum within the smallest corners of reality, offering itself to any who pause long enough to listen. And so you pause. You rest in the awareness of atoms vibrating, fields shimmering, probabilities drifting. You realize that you do not need to grasp everything. The act of noticing is enough. The act of listening is enough. You float in this silence, and the silence holds you gently, as though the universe itself were a cradle. The more you listen, the more you sense a question rising. If the quantum world is so strange, so unlike the world you know, how can the two belong to the same reality? How can the world of certainty emerge from the world of whispers? How can the ordinary grow from the extraordinary? These thoughts do not demand answers now. They simply linger, waiting. You breathe, and you feel the stillness deepen. The journey has only begun. You are standing at the edge of a new kind of understanding, one that will invite you to see particles not only as things but as waves, to imagine matter as both solid and fluid. Tonight, you hear the first whispers. Tomorrow, you will hear the rhythm of duality. And so you drift, carried by questions, toward the next chapter of the journey, where particles and waves dance together, softly and impossibly, as one. You imagine a stone dropped into still water, ripples spreading outward. Now, you realize light and matter ripple in much the same way. Sometimes they are solid, sometimes they flow, both truths at once. This duality invites you deeper into a paradox that feels like poetry. You picture yourself standing by a still pond at dusk. The air is quiet, the water smooth as glass, and you hold a small stone in your hand. When you release it, the stone breaks the surface, sending ripples outward in perfect rings. The sound is soft, barely more than a whisper. Yet the ripples expand, touching every corner of the pond, far beyond where the stone first fell. This simple image becomes your doorway into the quantum world. Because light, the very essence of vision, behaves much the same way. It is not only a particle racing in straight lines, like arrows through the dark. It is also a wave, spreading gently, touching places it should not, echoing in directions you cannot always predict. One truth, two shapes, and both are real. You close your eyes and breathe in slowly. It feels impossible that something could be both a particle and a wave. You are used to opposites that stay separate. Day and night, sound and silence, earth and sky. But here, in this small and mysterious world, opposites meet and blur. Particle is like a stone, solid, tangible, a point in space. A wave is like a ripple, fluid, stretching across distance, refusing to be contained. And light, as well as matter, lives in both forms at once. Centuries ago, great thinkers struggled with this same mystery. Isaac Newton looked at beams of light through prisms and believed in little corpuscles. Tiny particles, sharp and fast, shooting in straight paths. At the same time, Christian Huygens imagined waves, spreading through an invisible medium, much like ripples on a pond. Both men were brilliant. Both men were partly right. Yet neither could imagine that the answer was not one or the other, but both, depending on how you looked. You picture them arguing across time, voices soft but insistent. Light is a particle, Newton says. No, it is a wave, Huygens insists. And you smile at the thought, because in truth, each of them was touching the same elephant in the dark, describing only what they felt in their hand. Centuries later, experiments began to reveal the deeper story. Imagine a simple setup. A beam of light aimed at a barrier with two slits. Behind the barrier lies a screen, waiting to record where the light lands. If light were only a particle, you would expect two bright stripes, just like throwing pebbles through two windows. If light were only a wave, you would expect ripples overlapping, forming a delicate pattern of brightness and shadow. What appears on the screen? Not two stripes, not only waves, but a strange interference pattern, as though the light has passed through both slits at once, rippling and colliding with itself. This is the famous double-slit experiment, and it whispers something profound. Light is both a wave and a particle. And stranger still, matter, electrons, atoms, even molecules can show the same behavior. The solidness you trust, the very building blocks of your body, also ripple like waves when examined closely enough. You breathe slowly, letting the idea settle into you. It is not something to be solved quickly. It is not a puzzle piece that clicks into place with a snap. It is more like a soft poem that lingers, repeating itself in gentle echoes. The world is not either-or. It is both, and think of music for a moment. A single note feels sharp and clear, like a particle, but a chord, a harmony, spreads outward, filling a room with richness, like a wave. Neither cancels the other. Each belongs. In the same way, particles and waves are not enemies. They are two expressions of the same truth, shifting depending on how you listen. The more you dwell on it, the more you sense how natural it is. You too contain more than one form. You are a body, solid and defined, a particle in space. Yet you are also breath, thought, memory, a wave spreading into the lives of others, rippling into tomorrow. You are not confined to one shape or the other. You are both, as the universe itself is both. Physicists, however, do not rest easily in poetry. They wanted to know why and how. They tested, measured, and probed. And what they found was that the act of measuring changes what is seen. If you look for a particle, you find it crisp and sharp. If you look for a wave, you find that instead soft and flowing. Reality bends itself to the shape of your question. This is not an illusion. It is the nature of things. You linger here because this thought carries weight. The world is not passive, sitting coldly and waiting for you. It responds. It listens. It changes depending on how you attend to it. Your gaze, your measurement, your very way of asking shapes the answer you receive. You let this realization flow deeper into your breath. Suddenly, wave-particle duality feels less like a paradox and more like a mirror. It tells you that truth is not always singular or rigid. Truth can be multiple, layered, even contradictory, and still be real. It asks you to be gentle with certainty, to hold it lightly, as you would a fragile shell. The history of science reminds you how hard it is to accept this. For generations, scientists wanted neat answers, categories that held firm. But duality resists being pinned down. It is like trying to catch water in your hand. The more tightly you grip, the more it slips through. Only by cupping your palm gently can you hold it, even for a moment. In your mind, the image returns. A stone dropped in water, ripples spreading outward. But this time, imagine the stone itself is not fixed. It is both the solid pebble and the ripple it creates. It is both at once, inseparable, indivisible. This is the heart of the quantum whisper. Matter and light are not confined to categories. They flow between them, dancing like music in two keys at once. You let your thoughts drift wider into the world around you. The screen you look at, the phone or tablet or lamp that glows nearby, all of it depends on this duality. Lasers, semiconductors, even quantum computers trace their roots to the paradox of particles and waves. What feels abstract and poetic is, in truth, the hidden foundation of modern life. Your world runs on paradox, quietly, invisibly, every day. And so, as you rest, you begin to sense duality not as confusion, but as comfort. It tells you that contradiction is not always an error. It is sometimes true wearing two masks at once. It is sometimes reality, shimmering in two voices that sing together in harmony. You close your eyes again and imagine your own being. Your breath moves like a wave, rising and falling. Your heartbeat pulses like a particle, rhythmic, distinct. Wave and particle, flow and point, breath and beat. All of it is you all at once. You feel calmer, as though the universe itself is whispering reassurance. The quantum world is not chaos. It is rhythm, paradoxical but gentle, guiding you to see wholeness where before you saw division. Duality does not separate. It unites. It shows you that opposites can coexist, not as rivals, but as companions. And yet, one question remains, soft and unresolved. If light and matter can be both wave and particle, what happens when you try to know them exactly? What happens when you ask not just what they are, but where they are or how fast they move? Can you hold certainty in your hand, or will it dissolve into possibility? That mystery waits, just beyond this one, in the next quiet step of your journey. You picture holding sand, slipping gently through your fingers. The closer you try to grasp it, the more it evades your touch. Heisenberg's principle lives here, a soft reminder of limits. Uncertainty does not frighten, it makes space for wonder. You are holding your hand out in a quiet dream. In your palm rests a pile of fine sand, each grain smaller than thought, smaller than time. You press your fingers around it gently, wanting to hold it still, to keep it in one place. Yet the tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away, falling through invisible spaces between your fingers. What you thought you could grasp refuses to stay. The sand scatters, but the scattering is not a failure. It is a message, a whisper from the world beneath your world. Some things reveal themselves only when you stop demanding to know them completely. This is how uncertainty moves in the quantum world. Not like chaos, not like confusion, but like a dance, a soft, unending rhythm between knowing and not knowing. Werner Heisenberg, a young physicist with eyes full of questions, gave this rhythm a name, the uncertainty principle. He discovered that in the small, secret world of atoms and particles, you can never know everything at once. You can measure where something is, or you can measure how it is moving, but you cannot hold both truths in your hands at the same time. Imagine trying to look at a firefly in the dark. If you stand still and wait, you can see the glow, a dot of light shining softly in the air. You know its place. But the moment you try to watch how it moves, you must follow its trail, and in doing so, you lose the exactness of where it once was. The firefly's glow is still real, but your attention bends toward one truth and away from the other. This is the dance of uncertainty, not a trick, not a flaw, but a natural law of the universe. The closer you try to measure, the stronger this truth becomes. A particle's position, where it is, and its momentum, how fast and in what direction it moves, are like two sides of a coin you cannot look at together. The act of holding one side means the other slips into mystery. Just as your fingers cannot hold every grain of sand, your instruments cannot hold both truths in the quantum realm. And yet, rather than being a wall, this principle is a doorway. It tells you that the universe is not a book with every word already written. It is more like a poem, one that shifts each time you read it, its meaning shaped by your gaze. Each observation does not simply reveal reality, it shapes it. You become part of the story the moment you decide what to look for. Let this thought move through you gently, without urgency. Consider your own life, the moments when certainty slipped away, when answers refused to come. At first it may have felt like loss, like sand falling from your palm. But often, that space made room for new discoveries. A new direction, a new softness, a new wonder. Quantum uncertainty mirrors this human truth. It reminds you that mystery is not emptiness. It is a possibility. To feel this more deeply, imagine a violin string vibrating in the night. You can hear the sound, but you cannot see the exact dance of every atom in that string. You know it vibrates, but the more you try to narrow down its motion, the less you know about its resting place. The note you hear is real, but it is born from a blur of uncertainties, woven together into harmony. In this way, music itself carries the spirit of Heisenberg's principle. Out of uncertainty, a melody is born. The quantum world is not cold, even though it may seem distant. It breathes in patterns that resemble the way your own thoughts move, the way your own dreams unfold. They shift, they dissolve, they reappear in new shapes. Uncertainty is not failure to know. It is the very texture of knowing. Without it, particles could not behave as they do. Without it, atoms could not exist as they are. Without it, the universe would not be alive with possibility. Pause now, and picture yourself walking on a beach at dusk. The tide moves in and out, and though you can see the water, you cannot predict the shape of every wave before it rises. Each step you take leaves a mark, but even your footprints are softened by the next wash of water. The shore is both certain and uncertain, solid beneath you, shifting all around you. This is the dance of uncertainty, stretched from the scale of particles to the scale of seas. When scientists first faced this principle, many felt discomfort. They longed for certainty, for the clear clockwork of Newton's world, where every gear and wheel turned in perfect predictability. But the quantum world does not move in clockwork. It moves in whispers, in probabilities, in clouds of possibility. It tells you not where a particle must be, but where it may be found, like a flock of birds drifting across the sky, their exact pattern shifting with each glance. And you, listening here in the quiet, are part of this pattern. The light that touches your eyes, the air that fills your lungs, the atoms in your body, all of them obey this law. You are not separate from uncertainty. You are made of it. The rhythm of your breath, the pulsing of your heart, the gentle flutter of your thoughts. Each carries the signature of unpredictability. Life itself is a kind of quantum dance, unfolding moment by moment, never fully certain, never fully fixed. Think of how comforting this can be. If everything were predetermined, if every step were already carved in stone, there would be no room for discovery. But uncertainty opens the path for freedom. It allows for surprise, for growth, for choice. Just as an electron hovers in many states until measured, your future holds many possibilities until you live it. The uncertainty principle is not just about particles, it is about potential. Heisenberg once wrote that what we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. Each question you ask the world reveals one answer while hiding another. To live with uncertainty is not to live in darkness, but to live in shifting light, where each glow is partial, and each shadow holds more to be seen. Let the idea settle, you do not need to hold everything at once. Just as you cannot hold every grain of sand, you cannot hold every truth in your mind at once. But you can rest in the rhythm, trusting that the dance continues, whether or not you see every step. Uncertainty, then, is not a flaw to be corrected but a harmony to be heard. It is the soft blur at the edge of vision, the gentle hum beneath the silence, the part of the song that makes the melody whole. You do not need to know the precise path of every particle to feel the truth of the world. You need only listen to the dance. And so, as your thoughts grow softer, as your breathing slows, you feel the grains of sand in your hand once more. They do not stay fixed, but they shimmer as they fall, catching the fading light of a sun setting inside you. You realize that not knowing everything is its own kind of knowing. To rest in uncertainty is to rest in wonder. But this dance raises another question, gentle and patient, waiting at the horizon. If uncertainty is woven into the fabric of the smallest things, what does it mean for the connections that tie particles together, no matter how far apart they are? An electron does not walk, it vanishes and appears. In one heartbeat, it jumps from here to there, skipping the in-between. This leap is strange yet ordinary in the tiny realm of atoms. It feels like magic, but it is the quiet rhythm of matter itself. You breathe slowly, allowing your body to settle, and your mind drifts into a realm where the familiar rules of movement begin to dissolve. In your ordinary world, things travel across space in smooth, predictable lines. A bird takes flight and you see the arc of its wings carve through the sky. A ball rolls across the floor, touching each point in its path before it comes to rest. Every step, every inch is accounted for. But in the quantum world, not everything follows these gentle, continuous paths. Sometimes things simply leap. And tonight, you drift into the mystery of one of the most enchanting motions known to science. The quantum leap. Picture, for a moment, an electron. You can imagine it as a tiny speck of possibility, circling the heart of an atom. That heart, the nucleus, is warm with energy, packed tightly with protons and neutrons. Around it, the electron hovers, not in a neat orbit like a planet around the sun, but in a blurred cloud, as if it is both everywhere and nowhere at once. In this cloud, the electron does not move the way you or I understand motion. It does not slowly spiral inward. It does not creep outward in measured steps. Instead, it exists in one state and then suddenly it exists in another. Jumps. And in that jump, it performs an act that feels almost like a miracle. Imagine climbing a staircase. Normally, you would place your foot on every step, feeling the wood or stone beneath you as you rise, one by one. The electron, however, does not bother with the steps in between. It stands on one stair, and in a blink, it is standing 2 or 3 stairs higher. The space between has not been crossed. It has been skipped. It is as though the steps themselves never existed. This is the quantum leap, the sudden, discontinuous change of energy levels inside the atom. It is small, so very small that it happens at scales invisible to the eye, even invisible to the strongest microscopes. Yet its effects spill into the light that touches your skin, the colors that enter your eyes, the energy that warms your body, the glow of a fire, the shine of a star, the gleam of neon lights in a city. All are born from electrons leaping within atoms. When an electron jumps downward, from a higher stair to a lower one, it releases energy. That energy often takes the form of light. A photon, a little packet of radiance, bursts into being. And that photon may travel across the universe, or simply reach the back of your eye, painting a color on your mind. Perhaps you picture the northern lights, the auroras dancing across polar skies. Their green and violet ribbons shimmer because electrons in Earth's atmosphere leap from one energy level to another, releasing photons as they fall. Each color corresponds to a different kind of leap, like a note in a symphony. The sky becomes a grand concert of quantum jumps, made visible for you to marvel at. This idea is so simple, yet so strange. For centuries, humanity assumed that motion must be continuous. How could something exist in one state and then another without traveling through the in-between? It defied common sense. Yet, in the 20th century, scientists began to see patterns they could not explain otherwise. The spectrum of light from burning gases, the glow of stars, the sharp lines of emission. These were fingerprints of the leap. And so the phrase quantum leap was born. Over time, it became a metaphor for sudden progress, a great advance. But here, in the quiet of bedtime reflection, you understand it differently. It is not necessarily large. It is not about grand leaps forward. It is about the tiniest skips, the delicate acts of vanishing and appearing that sustain the rhythm of matter. As you rest, think of the electron not as a cold particle, but as a dancer in a silent ballet. The stage is the atom, and the choreography is invisible. Yet the dance is constant. Sometimes the dancer hovers in stillness. Sometimes it spins into a new position, releasing a flash of light like a footfall upon the stage. You may not hear the sound, but the music is written into the fabric of existence. It is tempting to imagine the leap as instantaneous, as if the electron teleports from one level to another. In truth, the nature of this change remains mysterious. Does the electron truly disappear from one place and appear in another? Or does it exist in a liminal state between, a whisper of probability sliding into a new shape? Physicists still debate. And so, the leap holds its secrets close, like a lantern cupped in gentle hands. You may ask yourself, why can't the electron rest anywhere it pleases? Why only these discrete stairs, these fixed levels? The answer lies in the mathematics of quantum mechanics, but you need not carry equations to feel the truth. Just as a string on a violin can only play certain notes, only certain vibrations, so too can the electron exist only in specific energies. Each level is a note in the grand instrument of the atom. To leap is to shift from one note to another, sometimes releasing a sound, sometimes absorbing it. And so, when you see the colors of the world, when you bask in starlight or candlelight, you are bathing in the music of electrons. Every glimmer is the echo of a leap. Every ray is the evidence of this silent dance. You might notice, as you drift further into this thought, that the quantum leap carries a lesson about change itself. You may imagine change in your own life as a slow climb, step by step. But sometimes, change arrives suddenly without warning. One moment you are in one state of being, and then, without traversing the in-between, you find yourself in another. A realization dawns. A decision is made. A feeling shifts. Like the electron, you have leapt. This is why the quantum leap is more than science. It is metaphor. It teaches you that transformation does not always require a path. Sometimes it requires trust in the unknown, acceptance of the invisible process that carries you from here to there. Close your eyes now and picture a universe of electrons leaping. Each atom in your body contains countless of them, shifting levels, releasing photons, absorbing energy. You are glowing inside, though you cannot see it. A symphony of leaps is taking place in your cells at every heartbeat. You are not separate from this mystery. You are part of its endless performance. The stars above, too, live by the leap. Their radiant light, traveling millions of years to reach your gaze, is born in the hearts of atoms undergoing transition. Hydrogen, helium, heavier elements, all whisper their stories through the photons they release. When you look at the sky, you are seeing electrons leaping across unimaginable distances, leaving behind the signature of their transitions. And when a star dies, collapsing in brilliance, the leaps shift again. New elements are forged, new atoms with new levels, new dances waiting to unfold. The cycle of leaping never ends. Now let yourself drift with the thought. What is the leap teaching you tonight? Perhaps that energy is never truly lost, it only changes form. Perhaps that beauty can emerge from transitions, even ones you cannot see. Or perhaps, simply, that life is composed of many such leaps, quiet yet powerful, leading you into new stages of being. Your breath is steady now. Your mind is calm. You feel the rhythm of your own inner leaps, the shifts of thought, the flow of feeling. You sense how even in stillness, there is movement. Even in silence, there is music. And as you hold this image of the quantum leap, you begin to wonder. If electrons can vanish and appear, if light itself is born from such discontinuity, what else in the quantum world refuses to follow our ordinary sense of continuity? The answer will draw you into another mystery, one where particles are not only in one place but in many, one where presence itself seems to spread and overlap. You let that thought linger like the soft afterglow of light, carrying you gently toward the next question, the next chapter. Instead of one certain path, every particle swims in possibility. Like mist at dawn, blurred yet beautiful, the future is a cloud of maybes. Probability waves rise and fall, offering patterns rather than certainties. You float within the sea, learning to rest inside not knowing. Close your eyes and imagine an ocean at dawn. The surface is still, yet beneath it countless ripples wait to be born. Each wave is not yet formed, only a shimmer of potential. You are floating there, weightless, your body held gently by water that is not quite water, by something softer and stranger, an ocean of probabilities. Here, nothing is fixed, nothing is decided. Everything exists in the quiet possibility of becoming. In this ocean, particles no longer behave as neat and predictable objects. Instead, they live as waves of likelihood, whispers of futures not yet chosen. When you think of an electron, you might imagine a tiny bead, circling an atom like a planet around a star. But in truth, its position is not a single dot. It is a cloud, a diffuse, shimmering haze where the particle could be, where it might drift, where it may reveal itself when touched by observation. This is the probability cloud, and you drift through it like mist. Notice how the ocean feels beneath you. It does not demand you choose one path. It lets every path stretch outward, weaving and overlapping like ripples from stones cast into a pond. Each possibility is not denied, only suspended. The quantum world speaks in gentle uncertainty. It does not rush, it does not insist. It lets the future remain open, like a book with pages unwritten. Think of the dice you roll in childhood games. Before the cube lands, all numbers feel alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each waiting, each ready to be real. In our everyday lives, we see only the final roll, the face that settles upward. But the quantum world does not rush to collapse. It holds every number in the air at once, like shimmering possibilities that hover in silence. You are swimming through that silence now. The water beneath you is not steady. It is alive with waves, crests and troughs that are not waves of water but of chance. A particle might be here or there or anywhere along its cloud. The mathematics describe the probabilities, but you do not need numbers to feel the wonder. You can feel it as drifting light, as a haze that does not harden until you turn to look. First, this may seem unsettling. The human heart craves certainty. You long to know, to touch, to say, "It is here and nowhere else." But in this ocean you learn another truth, that not knowing can be as gentle as sleep. can cradle you. It can loosen the tightness of needing the world to be solid. Here, the soft blur of possibility becomes a comfort, not a threat. Imagine standing on a foggy morning. Shapes exist, yet they blur at their edges. Trees melt into mist, the horizon is softened, and every step forward reveals a world that was hidden only a breath ago. The fog is not frightening. It is beautiful, even tender. The quantum fog of probabilities is much the same. You cannot hold it, but you can trust that it holds you. Scientists once tried to measure this ocean with precision. They sought to pin particles down, to say exactly where and exactly when. But every attempt met the same truth. The closer you grasped, the more the particle dissolved into maybes. Werner Heisenberg described it through uncertainty, and Erwin Schrödinger through waves of probability. Together, their ideas gave form to this ocean you now float within. Picture Schrödinger's thought experiment. A cat, hidden in a box, both alive and not alive until the box is opened. It is not that the cat is truly in two states, but that the particle shaping its fate exists in overlapping probabilities, unresolved until the act of observation. The cat becomes a metaphor, a way of showing that the world does not decide until we look. Before we peek, the ocean holds all outcomes in its depth. And so you float, suspended in that same gentle suspension. You feel how wide the sea is, how many futures ripple beneath you. Some futures shimmer like sunlight on the surface, bright and near. Others are deep and shadowed, less likely but still alive. Probability is not a flat line, but a landscape of waves, some tall, some faint, all carrying a rhythm that hums beneath the universe. Close your eyes again. Feel the ocean breathe around you. A wave rises, perhaps the particle is here. A trough falls, perhaps it is not. Together, the rises and falls create interference, patterns of light and dark, possibility and absence. These patterns are the footprints of probability waves, the delicate choreography of matters maybe. You might remember the double-slit experiment, often called the most beautiful demonstration in physics. A single particle is fired toward two openings like tiny doorways. If the particle were only a bead, it would pass through one or the other. But instead, it passes as a wave of probability, spilling through both at once, spreading, overlapping, creating an interference pattern of light and shadow. The world does not choose one path until you insist on looking. Observation folds the wave into a single point, but until that moment, every path is alive. Here, you are not an observer demanding certainty. You are a traveler resting in the ocean itself, allowing the waves to carry you without collapse. You drift not toward answers, but toward wonder. You breathe in the rhythm of possibility, and you let it remind you that life itself is not a single line but a web of maybes, of choices and chances that ripple outward. Sometimes life feels like you are forced to choose, forced to commit to one face of the dice, one path of the particle. Yet here in the ocean you see the fuller picture. All paths exist until the moment comes. Nothing is wasted. Nothing disappears. Every potential hums, and though only one may solidify, the others remain like echoes, reminding you of the richness of what could have been. You begin to sense how probability is not weakness but generosity. The universe is generous enough to hold many possibilities at once. It does not rush to certainty. It lets outcomes breathe. It teaches you that openness can be a strength, that patience is woven into the fabric of reality. As you float, you imagine your own life reflected in this sea. The decisions not yet made, the futures not yet chosen, the paths you cannot yet see. All are waves in your own probability cloud. They shimmer, they overlap, they are alive in you even now. To rest here is to accept that you, too, are a being of probabilities, unfolding with each step, each breath, each glance toward tomorrow. And slowly, gently, you see that the ocean of probabilities is not an abstract concept. It is a mirror. It reflects how every moment of your life is more spacious than you realize. The wave does not collapse until you choose, until you observe, until the present becomes the past. Until then, you are free to float, to imagine, to feel the wide horizon of the possible. The ocean rocks you softly, and with each gentle swell, you understand a little more. Uncertainty is not emptiness. It has potential. It is the universe whispering, "There are many ways I could unfold." The mist is not confusion. It is beautiful. The blurred horizon is not lost. It is an invitation. And as you surrender to this sea, you feel a profound calm. You no longer need the particle to be here or there, the dice to have already landed, the cat to be already alive or already gone. You are at peace within the shimmer of maybes. You are at peace within the ocean of probabilities. The water cradles you, the waves breathe, and gently you feel that probability itself is not the end of the journey, but only the beginning. For beyond probability lies something deeper still, a mystery about how the possible becomes the actual, how the ocean of maybes chooses a single shore. Two particles meet, and their stories entwine forever. No distance, not even the span of galaxies, can unbind them. Entanglement feels like a cosmic thread weaving space and time. You drift in its mystery, sensing connection in every corner of being. You close your eyes and let yourself imagine the smallest flicker of matter, the tiniest piece of existence. It is so small that even the best microscopes could never touch it. Yet in your mind it rests gently, almost like a speck of stardust. Two of these specks, two particles, drift toward each other in the emptiness. They do not simply collide and scatter away, as marbles might. Instead, something stranger happens. They begin to share a secret. They become tied by an invisible thread, a thread not of matter, but of relationship. This is entanglement. You let the word roll slowly inside your mind, like a pebble turning in a tide pool. Carries both weight and lightness. To be entangled is to be bound, yet also to move with freedom. These particles, once strangers, are now companions in the great quiet of the universe. When one moves, the other feels it, even if they are carried far apart. The link remains. The story is shared. It is here, in this delicate binding, that you notice something profoundly gentle. The world is not made of isolated fragments after all. Even at the smallest scales, there is togetherness. Even in emptiness, there is a relationship. Imagine now that the two entangled particles drift farther and farther apart. One slips away to the right, another drifts to the left. They are carried, perhaps, to opposite sides of the galaxy, hidden by vast seas of stars. The distance between them grows so immense that even light itself, the fastest traveler, would need thousands of years to cross it. And yet, when something touches one, the other answers. You breathe slowly, letting this realization sink in. The universe, it seems, does not always obey the rules you expect. Your mind has been trained by everyday life. Touch something here, and the effect stays here. Push a cup, and only the cup moves. Speak a word, and only those near can hear. But in the quiet quantum world, the rules feel more like whispers from a dream. Two particles, bound by their shared history, behave as if distance does not matter at all. Scientists call this non-locality. But for you, tonight, it feels more like intimacy. A closeness that does not dissolve even when the spaces between grow infinite. You picture two friends, separated by oceans, yet still able to feel each other's laughter or grief. You picture threads of memory that bind you to people you have not seen in years, yet whose presence you still carry. Science becomes poetry, and poetry becomes truth. The wonder deepens when you learn that entanglement is not rare. It is not some fragile accident that happens only in laboratories. It is everywhere, flowing quietly beneath the fabric of reality. Every time particles meet, they have the chance to become entangled. Every time their paths cross, their stories may merge. The cosmos, then, is not simply a sea of lonely fragments, but a woven cloth of countless threads. You pause to feel the comfort in this, to realize that nothing is ever truly alone, that even the smallest speck of matter may hold, invisibly, a connection that stretches across eternity. The thought drifts further. If particles can be entangled, then atoms can be entangled too. If atoms, then molecules. If molecules, then perhaps the very matter that makes up your body once shared these silent threads with distant stars. You breathe in and you wonder, Could the atoms of your lungs still be whispering to atoms scattered across galaxies? Could there be a quiet correspondence happening even now, in ways you cannot sense, but that the universe remembers? The answer is both scientific and poetic. In truth, entanglement fades when particles interact with the noisy world around them. The bonds blur and dissolve. Yet, at the grandest scales, new entanglements are constantly forming. The web never disappears. It only shifts and renews. The world remains a living tapestry, rewoven at every instant. You let yourself sink into this image. A cosmic loom, threads of connection endlessly spun and tied, broken and rewoven. Each particle is a knot, each knot a story. Together they form a fabric more intricate than any design the mind could invent. And in this fabric, space itself begins to feel less like a vast emptiness, and more like a shared field of belonging. The paradox of entanglement is that it feels impossible, and yet it is confirmed again and again. Physicists have tested it with precision, creating entangled photons and measuring them across long distances. Each time, the pattern holds. The particles behave as one, no matter how far they travel. Einstein once called it spooky action at a distance. For him, it was unsettling, like a trick that mocked the laws of space and time. But for you, here in the quiet of reflection, it feels more like tenderness, a cosmic assurance that nothing drifts entirely alone. You begin to see echoes of this principle everywhere. In ecosystems, where the fall of one tree nourishes countless others. In families, where choices ripple down through generations. In the very fabric of your thoughts, where one memory calls forth another, weaving together your sense of self. Entanglement in physics becomes entanglement in life. The borders blur. The lesson expands. The more you sit with this, the more you feel the rhythm of it in your body. Your heartbeat is not isolated. It follows the pulse of breath, which follows the rhythm of earth, which turns with the cycle of the sun, which circles with countless stars. Everything moves together, bound not just by gravity, but by subtler, invisible threads. You too are woven in. There is a gentleness in surrendering to this truth. You no longer need to hold so tightly to the idea of being separate, of being only one small self drifting in vast darkness. Instead, you are reminded that your existence is part of a larger chorus, a symphony of relations that spans the universe. And just as in music, silence has its role. The spaces between notes allow harmony to emerge. So too, in the cosmos, the distances between stars, between particles, are not emptiness but room for threads to stretch, for connections to sing. Entanglement shows you that the universe is not cold machinery, but a dance of correspondence. You are not merely watching it from the outside, you are moving with it. Every breath, every thought, every beat of your heart is a ripple in this fabric. You feel the edges of sleep begin to soften your thoughts. Science becomes more dreamlike now, the metaphors carrying you. You imagine the night sky above you, each star shining not as a lone fire, but as a bead on an invisible string, tied to countless others. Some strings stretch across unimaginable distances, yet the connection is real. You float among them, weightless, peaceful, held by threads that never break. The mystery remains. No one fully understands why or how entanglement works. It resists explanation. It asks you not to solve it, but to rest in it. Like a koan whispered by the cosmos. Things can be apart, yet not apart. Things can be separate, yet still whole. This is not just physics. It is an invitation to trust that connection is deeper than appearance. An invitation to live as though every action, every thought, sends quiet ripples outward, felt in places you cannot see. As your mind drifts further, you realize that entanglement is not only about distance, but about time. Particles that were once connected may carry their bond into the future, remembering each other across ages. The past does not vanish entirely. It leaves echoes, threads, resonances. You wonder, then, whether time itself is a kind of entanglement, binding moments together, weaving past, present, and future into one flow. Could the laughter of your childhood still ripple faintly in the atoms around you? Could the choices of today already whisper to the days yet to come? The question lingers, soft and unresolved, inviting you forward. Perhaps the fabric of the cosmos is not only woven of matter and space, but also of time. Perhaps every moment touches another, entangled across eternity,